am David with EV World News. We talk about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. And I'm back today on a Tuesday with our founder and chief editor, Bill Moore. How's it going, Bill?
Hey, going great. Thank you for asking.
You know, it's funny. Sometimes we start off talking about the weather. It has been like an unseasonably cool June this year. It's really
Yeah.
been more like what I think of April as being, and it's not really been all that warm. But we did have some hot days in May, so go figure.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
It's like they're backwards.
summer's just getting cranked up, buddy.
Yeah, it only started 2 days ago. I realized that, but still, it's getting started off slow. Anyways, so SpaceX went public last week, and they went live at $135. Looks like they shot all the way up to a high of 218, then back down to 151, and now they're sitting around $163. So it's pretty common. It's kind of like when Facebook went public and a lot of the others. They have a tendency to go sky high for a little bit and then roll back. But
like
SpaceX
we're
is
talking,
down 19% over the last 5 days.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like we were saying before we went live, somebody took a scalp or scalping.
Yeah. But you really don't know how many shares were traded at that high dollar amount. So it's one of the things that's, when we look at a stock chart, it doesn't necessarily show us volume that's going through it. Obviously there was massive volume in this because the initial IPO was like 4x oversubscribed.
Yeah.
Meaning there was 4 times as many buyers as what stock was available to buy it at the 135 price. So it obviously was worth more than that in investors' minds. But an interesting thing to see. It's still sitting at a 2.14 trillion market cap, and they went live at 1.75. Still, it's a historic event, stock market wise. So we get a lot of requests. People really want to know how well EVs are selling in Uruguay. I mean, I get that all the time.
I
on the
know
street.
all the time.
How are people driving EVs in Uruguay or not? It's like people can't even spell Uruguay. I mean, you think about it, it's a country with 3 U's in the name.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways,
I've learned how to spell it now just by posting the story.
Well, I know there's a big town called Montevideo, and there's a river there's a river Platte. And I know this because a ship was scuttled there in 1939.
Oh, that was the
Graf Spee.
Yeah, the Graf Spee. Yeah.
Anyways, so I've always known since I was a kid where Uruguay was. So anyways, Uruguay surpassed Costa Rica, another big country where we think about cars, as the regional leader in 2025, reaching an impressive 20% market share for battery electric vehicles in 2025, up from 8.5% the year before in 24. But in 2026, their yearly total with battery electric vehicle sales has been above 35% for the year and 41% in May.
41% in May, yeah.
And if you include plug-in hybrids, it's over 50% of sales. So there's a country where the price of oil probably really reflected in people making their decisions going to buy a new car, and they voted for electric.
Which is funny because they're right there, near Brazil, relatively, and you've got a lot of oil, coming out of Brazil. So,
yeah.
But then again, Brazil is heavily into ethanol. They, get a large percentage of their liquid fuels from sugarcane bagasse, I think they call it.
Yeah, plug-in hybrids rarely have reached 5% market share in the past. Um, but still, it's fascinating. It's like, well, that's our news from Uruguay. I don't know if we've ever discussed them on the show before.
I don't think so. That's why I posted the story, because I thought, Uruguay? Really?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, we talk about Norway all the time, right?
yeah.
But
Let's remember the
Uruguay?
time we were talking about what was it, Kenya or what country was it that banned gas cars?
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Yeah.
Ethiopia.
And it
Yeah.
turns out that only one out of every 500 people in Ethiopia owns a car, you know. So it wasn't like it was
A
like an
hardship.
overwhelming
A
thing.
hardship. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I just thought that was that was kind of a funny one because there just weren't that many cars, period, in the country. All right. So electric cars win at the Pikes Peak Challenge. A Super Mustang Mach-E won this year, and it came in second place last year, but there was something about the weather that made it harder to operate it last year or something. So um, the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb is one of the longest running races in the world, being held 103 times since 1916. It's a difficult race, starting at an already high 9,390 feet in elevation and finishing at 14,100 feet with an average 7% vertical grade. The track was largely unpaved until 2011. It was largely unpaved on dirt or gravel roads. It's still not uncommon for cars to leave the track and crash into the woods, or
Oh
worse,
yeah. That
end up tumbling down the
that that
mountain.
does happen. Yep.
Yeah, the race is commonly stopped by rain, snow, fog, or other inclement weather, the type you commonly get at the top of mountains. The high altitude nature of the race to the clouds, has been difficult because at high altitudes there's less oxygen, which means less combustion of fuel. This
Yep.
means that gas powered race vehicles need to have incredibly oversized engines to do well. That difficulty,
And turbochargers, just like
yeah,
airplanes.
yeah. The difficulty does not apply to electric vehicles since EVs don't need oxygen for combustion. So for years, EVs have overperformed. The all time record was set by an all electric Volkswagen IDR in 2018, driven by a gentleman named Romain Dumas. Um, Other EVs do well at the race. We've seen Ioniq 5N and Rivian Quad set records and good runs from Tesla and even Faraday Future. Let's see. Ford decided to stop playing around and bring a real race car instead of silly vans. Last year, it ran the 1,400 horsepower Super Mustang Mach-E, which doesn't really look like the Mach-E's I see on the street. It looks slightly different.
It's super. That's why.
Yeah, that looks a little different. It's got
Well,
the it's got four doors.
it could. Hey, it could just simply have a, you know, Mach-E chassis underneath. Obviously, highly modified.
Yep.
Look at this.
And
Look at the size of the wing on the back of that thing.
yeah, Ford hired Romain Dumas to be the driver. Let's see. Give us something. The Mustang won its class but lost to an ultralight prototype race car, the Nova Proto NP0, piloted by Simone Fagioli,
Fagioli.
which won by 5 seconds.
Fagioli, yeah.
Um, Dumas said his Ford would likely have had the advantage if the full track was open due to lighter air at the top, but that the mountain decides. In 26, though, the Mach-E, I think, ended up taking it. They qualified 7 seconds behind the same guy from last year, but it won this time around. It won by 11 seconds over second place Robin Shute, a former engineer at Tesla and Faraday, in the open wheel CindyCar V1, an ultralight custom built for Formula style race car. And the winner from the previous year came in third. Let's see. Yeah, we don't get a whole lot of pictures. We just had the one picture.
Well, you'll still be a lot here probably later on other sources.
Yeah. I mean, still, it doesn't really look like a Ford Mach-E I see driving around town,
No.
but it heavily modified, plus has 1,400 horsepower, which is rather crazy.
So it's a Mach-E in name only, really.
Yeah, I like this other article about the zinc mines, because I
Now
like
that's
big trucks. Or
yep.
all boys are fascinated with big trucks, and I wish they had like a human in the picture for scale, or a banana, one of the two. Um, because I'm gonna just assume, based on this ladder up here in the front,
Is probably about 6 feet just to that bumper.
yeah, I'm gonna guess it's pretty hard to get up there. And they all have like a little clown nose on the front, a red clown nose. Um, these are pretty massive mining trucks here. And you can see the gas powered ones behind them back there. What do we get here? So it's a 140-ton battery electric vehicle with a 770 kilowatt hour swappable battery pack. That's a big. They built 290 of them. 200. That's not just a prototype. They built 290.
Yeah. Now,
Um,
what's interesting, apparently, the angle of the article is that there was nothing like this available. So the company, which is a Chinese mining company, I think the mine is located in Mongolia, decided that since nobody makes it, we'll build it. So they obviously hired engineers and
Zhejiang
contracted
Mining.
with, yeah, Zhejiang, and they obviously contracted to somebody. Hey, this is what we want. Build it for us.
Yeah.
All electric.
So the safety and operating efficiency of the electric mining trucks have notable advantages over diesel. Fewer complex transmission components. They have much lower failure rate than the fossil fuel vehicles. Simpler operation reduces the risk of accidents due to operational errors. Um, let's see here. Oh, we got a little video. We might as well watch the video. Let's see what we get here. Well, there's some humans for scale. Oh, well, that is like the
Well, that was
shortest.
a short video. Yeah,
Yes, that was a really short.
you saw the clown nose on the front of it. Is that a light? Is that a warning? Red warning
No,
light?
it looked like it was a ribbon. It looked like it was a ribbon
Okay.
on the front of it. And it was wrapped around the whole cab,
Ah,
like they were presents. Um, the battery can be swapped in 4 minutes. Wow, that's
there's a video I saw over the weekend that showed that in operation with a semi truck, where the truck pulls into this thing. The crane comes over the top, drops down, pulls the old battery out, moves it off, comes back, drops the new one in, and the truck is gone. I think it said 90 seconds to
wow,
recharge.
that's fast.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't put gas in a car that fast. Certainly not a tractor trailer. I mean, that's really quick. Um, it spends more time hauling and less time charging. Um, the first example was first shown in December, but they now have 290, amounting to 80% of the mine's transport. Um, it represents the 140-ton class fleet, joins more than 1,700 electric vehicles currently deployed throughout the Zhejiang mining fleet, with plans for several hundred more to be deployed by the end of the year on its way to a goal of true net zero operations. Oh, and some of these are even autonomous. So here's a picture of them with
Why not?
autonomous mining trucks. So these are loading these up, and apparently there's nobody driving.
That's interesting. Mike, our co-host, was over here this morning, and we were talking, about a potential project down in Guyana where, or was some resort area anyway in the Caribbean, and he said there's, it's the shuttle runs from the airport to the hotel or the resort, 10 kilometers, whatever it is, constant route all the time. Why not just make it electric? And at some point, why not just make it autonomous?
There
It's
you
the
go.
same route over and over again, short distance. Probably, there's a downtime between the incoming and departing flights you can take advantage of, but if you're doing your recharging, sure. And then if you've got a setup like this, where you, automatically replace the battery pack in what, minute and a half to 3 minutes, whatever it is, makes sense.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Let's see. All right, here's some Tesla semi news. A company called ArcBest achieved a 1.55 kilowatt hour per mile efficiency over 4,500 miles, better than Musk's promise of 1.7. So 1.55 kilowatts is all it's using
Right.
versus 1.7 that Musk was said in 22 that they would deliver. A company called WattEV has placed a 370 truck order worth $100 million. Port operators ordered 60 more units as Tesla enters high volume production. Tesla semi specs dominate competitors, an 822 kilowatt hour battery with a 500-mile range versus Freightliner's eCascadia, which has a 550 kilowatt hour with 230 miles of range, and Volvo's entry, which has a 564 kilowatt hour with 275 miles of range. That's interesting. We just don't see that much about the Tesla semi, but it's out there, right? So here's something. So legacy automakers are outperforming pure play EV stocks currently. GM is up 124% over the past 3 years, massively beating Rivian and Tesla. Lucid's down 92% as the end of the 7,500 federal tax credit hammers EV sales. The market shifted from early adopters to it's not mainstream yet phase. Competition exploded, 20 EVs now versus 2 5 years ago. Analysts recommend legacy automakers over pure play EV startups. Sometimes the obvious answer is the hidden answer. And we're just talking here on stock picking, not so much on the nature of the cars themselves. Now, I wanted to talk about this grid thing here with General Motors. So General Motors now has 250,000 plus bidirectional capable EVs on the road that can power homes for days during outages and feedback power to the grid via vehicle to grid tech. They're partnering with PG&E, targets about 130,000 GM EVs in Northern California by 2030, with 52,000 participating in grid balancing protocols. GM is developing a sodium-ion battery specifically for grid-scale storage, different chemistry optimized for longevity versus vehicle batteries optimized for weight and density. Redwood Materials is deploying 100 repurposed GM battery packs at a Michigan plant. It's 1.5 megawatts of energy with 6 megawatt hours of storage, saving about $3 million in electricity costs over the lifetime. It's interesting to see all these things going on with General Motors.
Yeah.
Well,
they're obviously they're adopting. They're adapting is a word I guess I want to the realities of what's happening. So it's exciting to see. They had so many opportunities in the past and they kind of blew it, but now it looks like they're hopefully have learned their lessons. Not everything they're doing is necessarily the right direction, but getting into the battery home battery business and V2G and that type of thing, that's great.
to be fair, they've been kind of on the bleeding edge of a lot of things in the EV space. You look at the EV1, you look at the 40 volt, but they were all ahead of their time, right?
Yep.
Whereas if they had released them,
I kind of feel that way too at times.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, no, I know what you mean there, but it's interesting because when they released them, there wasn't really a market for them. Then 10 years later, there is. But maybe a lot of that is driven by the fact that they did what they did years ago.
Well, I guess what's the old saying about pioneers? You know who a pioneer is from the number of arrows in their back?
Yeah, the pioneers get all the arrows. Yeah. Let's see here. All right, want to talk about Ford's $30,000 EV pickup. A mid-sized Ford EV pickup prototypes are now testing on public roads in California and Michigan. Camouflage.
Highly camouflaged, yeah.
Yes. Built on a universal EV platform targeting $30,000 price point to compete with traditional gas pickups. Ford launches a teaser website giving glimpse of prototype testing, signals production timeline approaching 27-28. Let's see. Oh, well, let me see what I can show here. First, we get this incredibly clear picture of a prototype driving in the snow.
Yeah, there you go.
And then we get one down here that's heavily camouflaged from the back. And let's see.
They like to tease, don't they?
Yeah. The truck should be smaller and cheaper than Lightning. Yeah, it should be about half the price of the Lightning. Let's see. Well, they're not going to show us much, apparently.
No, not yet.
It is funny how some of the car companies come up with these really creative camouflage patterns on their cars so people can't tell what they are.
Yeah, that's first I've seen of that polka dot, varying size of polka dots and things. Yeah, optical illusion.
Yeah, I just thought that was, it's fun to see that they're coming out with something in this range. All right. Let's see. China's EV price war drives innovation. Brutal 2025 and 26 price war slashed profits but accelerated innovation. Government intervention ended loss-making sales. EV market share stayed above 50% throughout the crisis, with May of 2026 hitting a record of 63% plug-in share. 63% in the largest car market in the world.
And what are we? 6% maybe if we're lucky.
Something like that. It's pretty small.
Yeah.
Automakers now competing on technology, features, and faster deployment cycles instead of unsustainable discounts. China's shifting from subsidy-fueled growth to tougher market rules, cutting incentives, exploring weight-based vehicle taxes that hit heavier EVs harder. It's interesting to see where some of that plays out, because we see, these big adoption numbers like Uruguay and China and the Scandinavian countries. It's just so funny that it just doesn't catch here, but the U.S. is actively trying to dissuade these things. Hey, what'd you think of that Morris delivery van from the 19th?
I love it. Yeah. I think that is such a throwback, right? But it's just, it's almost like it's, a toy that a kid would play with. Just, hey, why not? They caught on to streamlining, with Buckminster Fuller and their Aerodyne, So yeah, why not? I love.
I've been under the impression that they're probably closer in size to like a UPS van.
Oh yeah, it's I would think. Yeah, it's pretty big. But no, I don't. I mean, it's just you could make a Tinker toy thing out of that to give to kids to play with. It's just that cute.
Yeah,
I'm partial though, because I remember the milk floats and the Bicky van that came around the campus when I was a college student in England. So I'm and the one of the professors had one of the early Jaguar S types, I think, or something. So yeah, or J type. So yeah, that's I like it. I think that was personally, hey, what's more modern than doing something that old?
Right. No, I get it. I get it. Um, yeah, I don't really have a lot else today. Did you have anything else you wanted to cover today, Bill?
Well, we talked about SpaceX. We talked about Uruguay. Hey, I guess we could talk about the my net boat project.
Yeah. So what's going on with net boats?
Nah, well, we'll get to that when the time is appropriate. But basically, just a quick teaser. I, with absolutely no nautical engineering background, but an interest in hybrid electric technology, am proposing to build a hydrofoil that it uses a range extended micro turbine to drive it for extended operations in some island countries that I'm investigating. Let's leave it that way.
Great.
So yeah,
All right. Well,
keep
anyways,
keep keep your ear to the ground. I'll tell you more as time progresses.
awesome.
I actually have a meeting with a boat builder in September when I go up to see our daughter up in Puget Sound area. So
Nice. All right. Well, anyways,
all right,
folks, I want to thank people for watching today. And I'll be back on Friday with engineer Mike Herzog, and Bill and I will be back next week. Otherwise,
if
folks,
not,
thanks for
yeah,
watching. Have a great
it,
day.
and at some point Mike will be looks like in Guyana, so that'll be interesting.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, he travels a fair amount. All right,
Yeah.
folks. See you later.